To my channel. Today I'm coming to you to do my story on cervical dysplasia. I have my notes right here because it's been a while and I keep forgetting things, so I am going to, if you see me look down, it's because I'm looking at my phone to see what happened. Cervical dysplasia is not talked about a lot, but it is something that there are a lot of people that are going through it, have been through it, and I just want to tell my story in hopes that it would help someone else, or maybe someone that is scared to go and get checked out to see what's going on. My story started in 1993. I went to the doctor for a regular pap smear, and I had some issues with my pap smear. I had abnormal pap smears. So the doctor called me and asked me to come back because they wanted to do a biopsy. So when I got there, they told me that I had mild dysplasia. For anyone that does not know what cervical dysplasia is, it is a precancerous abnormal cells of the uterus, and if not taken care of, it will turn into cancer. And to let you know the background, I did not have any signs or anything like that. It was just something that they caught when I went to the doctor. So when I went back for the biopsy, they used what was called a endocervical, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, it's called curettage. I don't know if that's spelled right, but I'll put the name somewhere on the screen. ECC is what it was called. Which is done in the office. It's an instrument that's shaped like a scoop, a small scoop, or a hook. And what it does is they go in and they scrape the tissue off, and then they'll send it down for biopsy. That's what they did to me. I really didn't feel it. It was something that was sort of like a normal pap smear. I did have like some slight cramping afterwards. I didn't have very much bleeding or anything. I spotted a little bit, and that was it. So after they got the culture back, they were supposed to call me and let me know what the next step was. So a week later, I get a call from the doctor, and they wanted to set up a surgery, which is called the LEAP surgery. So I told them, I said, okay, well, let me get my, make preparations for my children so that I can come in and do the surgery, and they were going to schedule it for that following week. Well, in the meantime, I got scared, and I did not show back up for my appointment. I kept getting calls from the doctor. I kept ignoring the calls from the doctor. I was terrified. I didn't know what to think or where this was going. So I did not go back to the doctor, and I didn't really want to know what the results were they found on the biopsy. So after about 3 months, I started getting signs. I started getting stomach pains and things like that. So I did make an appointment to go back to the doctor. And when I went back, they immediately did another biopsy, the same way they did the last time, and it was in the doctor's office. He told me they were going to set up for a pap smear, but they went ahead and did the biopsy while they were doing the pap smear. So about a couple of days later, I got a call. They needed to do surgery. It had turned into severe dysplasia, which meant that the cancerous cells were, the precancerous cells were growing, and they were turning into cancerous cells. So I needed to get the surgery. So this time I did go back for the surgery. I was scared. I got to thinking about my kids and what would happen to them. So I did go back for the surgery this time. So they scheduled the surgery for 2 days later. At that date, I went in, and it was a outpatient surgery. So I went in, and it was probably about 6 o'clock in the morning. I went in for surgery. They prepped me. They told me what all they were going to do, and took me back to the office where the procedure was going to be done. The procedure was done in the form of, like, say you're going to lay down and get a pap smear. It was done in that form. So you put your feet in the stirrups, and they use this instrument not the instrument that they use to open you up for the pap smear, but something that opened you up a little bit wider. It was not painful. I didn't feel it. I hate pap smears um, because my uterus tilts. So they have to go up under my uterus and pop it up just to see my cervix. So it wasn't painful. I told them what they needed to do so that they would, remember. Um, so after we got them prepped and everything, they used it was called a leap surgery is what it was called. And it's like an electrical loop that is charged. And what they do is they go in with this camera and they numb you in the area so that you will not feel anything. And they take this electrical loop and they burn all of the abnormal cells out that they see at that time. They go back in with the scoop to make sure that they got everything, and then they take that and send it off to the labs. After that, you will have some discharge. You will have like some cramps and things like that. It was nothing major. You can go home for 48 hours. You cannot do any physical labor. They want you to relax and put your feet up and just take everything easy. So that is what I did. I took off for a couple of days because I had 2 off days coming up. So I took the 2 days off before that, and then I took my two days off. So that gave me a total of 4 days off to recover. Plus today I had the surgery. I did have some minimal discharge. It started out pink and then it turned a brownish color, and they said that was normal because that meant it was getting rid of all the material that was left in my body is what it was doing. So after that, I had an appointment for 2 weeks later for them to check to see how everything was going, and everything looked fine when I went in. After that, I had to have an appointment for every 6 months to get checked for a pap smear. So the first 2 years after the surgery, I had to go back every 6 months to get checked and make sure that there was no cancerous cells or anything abnormal cells that they seen. So that went fine. After the 2 years, I went back to my yearly pap smear, which meant everything was gone and they didn't see anything else. The thing about having severe dysplasia or any type of dysplasia, there is a chance that it could come back. Mine didn't come back. I was checked, and I'm checked regularly every year now, and I have not had any signs. Dysplasia is caused by the HPV virus. I was not diagnosed with that, and I'm thinking that it might have been something that was maybe hereditary because my grandfather and my grandmother on my father's side died of cancer, and I have 2 of my first cousins that have breast cancer. So there is a history of cancer in my family. So that might have been, where I got it from, the history of cancer in my family, because I was not diagnosed with HPV. But that is what they say is the main cause of it. And there are preventions for that. They give girls from 9 to 12, they have a shot to prevent that. And if you don't get it between the ages of 9 and 12, they want to make sure that you get it between the ages of 13 and 26 to make sure that you do prevent that. They also say that you should limit your sexual partners, which I had been dating one guy. At this point, I had been with this guy for 8 years. So, but since I was not diagnosed with HPV, then I had to get it some other way. So I contribute that to the fact that there was cancer in my family history. So I am telling my story so that in hopes that it would help someone else, to let everybody know that you're not going through this alone. There are people that have been through it before you, people that will go through it after. I'm hoping that this story touches someone and helps you to understand that there's people out there that you can talk to. If you have any questions, please leave your questions below, comments. I will answer anything that I can. Like no type of signs for me having any issues to know that something was wrong, and there's not always signs. So the best thing to do and the best preventive way to work on this is to make sure that you get your yearly pap smear. And if you feel something's wrong with your body, go to the doctor. If they tell you something's wrong, go to the doctor. Don't be like I was and not go because I was scared of the outcome. I hope this helps someone out there. Please like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you later.